What a fun show. This show, I loved it. I love comedy horror mashups. It's my fave. So how did you hear about this project? And I'm going to ask both of you. So let's start with Sterling.
How did I hear about this project? Well, I met Kristen on another project I was doing, randomly, a very gay dating show. And we kind of developed a relationship. And she told me, look, I have this project coming up. I think you'd be really, really great for it. And I didn't really know what it was, but I just knew I loved her and I loved working with her on that set. She was like amazing. And I was like, literally anything you want me to do, I will do. And before you knew it, I was in Nashville. And that's how it happened.
Mandahla?
Mine's very similar. I've worked with Kristen on a number of projects, and I really enjoy working with Kristen. And when she jumps on the phone and calls me up and says, I have a project, I'm like, where do you want me?
Did you two do a chemistry read?
So what happened was, no, we Kristen was in town, and she had invited Lily and Sterling and myself. Abisha was not in LA to meet, and it was only very brief, but we all sat in, we met there, and then that was it until we met again on the day.
Yeah. That's so true. I forgot we had that meeting, but absolutely did.
Well, you brought your little kid, your little man as well. So
yes,
it was
I
like,
my dad's.
yeah, and it was like so
raspberries.
Yes, that's right. He was eating all the raspberries.
Well, the entire series was directed, as you guys mentioned, by Kristen Baker. Was Kristen open to your input on your character's development, or did you guys mostly stick to the script direction? Did she take your input?
Do you want to? Okay, she's so open, and it was really, really amazing. And on set, it just really became this very collaborative, creative experience where our natural and authentic chemistry as a foursome, I feel like really became a part of the script. And she really allowed that to happen, like our personalities to shine through. That meant like from adjusting a line to just like reblocking a scene, or just kind of going with like the flow or the dance move, or like these happy accidents that would happen. So it made it a really dope creative process. And I feel like our true bond and relationship that we developed in that lake house, I think it really shines through in the film as well, the show now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It did. Yeah. I thought it shined through too. I felt like as if everybody was already friendly, and we'll get to that because I feel like location shoots kind of add to that bonding experience. Yes. But I want to talk about my favorite scene. My favorite scene was the Ouija board scene, the seance, because I had no idea that you're supposed to put a pencil in the guider so the ghost writes. That was like new information for me. My mind was blown. But I also loved it because all the female characters were together in one scene, and it was just really funny. So what was your favorite moment to film, Mandahla?
Mine was a bathtub, hands down. It was so much fun. We couldn't move once we were in there. Once we were in there, Sterling was behind, Lily was in front at Abisha, and Sterling's legs are like so long that they're all the way to Abisha. And once we were in there, we were in there. That was a really, really fun scene for me to shoot.
Sterling, what was your favorite favorite part of the series?
I agree. I loved the bathtub scene, and also I loved our scene, Mandahla, like in the bedroom and under the covers and stuff, and like us getting ready. I loved all of our scenes together. But yes, the bathtub is the crowd or the cast favorite, I should say, of just scenes, because it really, like, for the crew and for us, the whole thing was just a bonding experience. Like, they had to take that bathroom apart. There was tons of them crammed in there. The bathroom was not that big at all. The tub was not big. Like, the bathroom was not made for this, but we made for it. And so it created a really cool energy around the scene. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to shoot. So,
well, Sterling, I have to ask you, I love the scene where Layla corrected Dee Dee, the host, when she unknowingly misgenders June. It was done sort of in a way that was both supportive of June, but it was also delivered with this grace for the host to learn and adapt to non-binary pronouns, something we rarely see on TV. were there discussions about that interaction and how it was going to play out? Because a lot of times on shows, television, film, they might feel the need to dramatize that, make it maybe even something
Mm,
of a negative aspect. And that moment
mhm,
was very positively casual. And I really did hope that kind of other inclusive projects take that route because um, like I said, it TV tends to dramatize things like that when they don't need to be. They can just be like, "This is what it is. Let's move on and accept it," and add it to
exactly.
your daily life. Try a little harder. And I really love that scene. So talk a little bit about that, and if there was discussions to make sure that that was done correctly.
Yeah, and I love what just what the I think you said it even just in asking the question is like these things should be like natural and a part of our lifestyles, ways of being. And I think when people kind of or films or like projects do like over dramatize them and give them that like after school special spin, then it kind of has an opposite effect
Mhm.
in my opinion, because no one wants to feel like ousted or like they're an inconvenience or like like all of those feelings that can sometimes come up for all of us in this community and other communities as well. um so yeah, I think there's just a cognizant thing where it wasn't just like a script thing, it's more of just like this is a life thing, and on set it's a life thing. And we were very fortunate to be on a very queer set. So like people, it was a life thing. Even within the community, we're still having to gracefully like hold each other accountable and we're all still learning. But there was no separation, I feel like, from script, and project and just real life and set life. I think everything kind of blended in that situation, which is a continuation of what I feel like it should be, is like this is just a part of our lives and we just need to treat people like humans and the way they want to be treated. Um, so yeah. Does
I
that
really
answer
do
the
hope
question
that.
or is that super esoteric? Sorry.
No, but
That
I
was
really do
beautifully
hope that
said.
other projects lean in that way because there is this tend to sort of dramatize things, and that can make things people feel more negative about them if they're dramatized. And that did not feel like that. It just felt, this is who I am, this is who she is, please respect that. And even considering the host who they were, they
Mhm.
kind of just rolled with the punches. And I really appreciated that. I thought it was very well done. I was hoping that there had been some sensitivity to that because I think it's important for representation in television. Mandahla, I have to ask you, filming on location in Tennessee, it must have brought all of you guys closer together. So can you talk about some maybe behind the scenes funny stories that happened or how you all bonded, the four of you, while filming this?
Well, to begin with, we had to push shooting because we were snowed in. So the day that we were meant to start shooting, we ended up being able to hang out and get to know each other. And all four of us, Sterling, Lily, and Abisha and I, shared upstairs one room, which meant that we also shared one bathroom.
Oh,
And we had to share a room like that for, I think was it 10 days, 10 nights, 11
Yeah.
nights?
Yeah.
Something like that. And so we were shooting in the house that we actually filmed in as well with our first AD, Natalie, and our editor, Simone. And every night after, like I would get up and I'd make the coffee or turn on the kettle, and Sterling would she'd take her
Like dinner.
meditation time, cook us
Oh yeah.
dinner
Oh, that's
with
right.
our chef. It was just a really incredible time of finding yourself in other people's spaces and learning actually how to respect each other's spaces and boundaries. And we all really worked together and did that really well. After we would shoot, we would sit around the coffee table in front of the fire and we'd run through the next day's scenes with Kristen until we felt good about that. And then we'd put it all away. We'd go shower, do whatever we needed to do. And then Sterling would cook dinner for us all. And then we sit around and we watch the Harry Potters together. Like, because some of us hadn't seen it. I'm a big nerd, but some of us hadn't seen it. And we actually got through 8 of them all together. And it was a really wonderful bonding time for all of us. Some of us would go walking off in the mornings and together. It was just You know, one of the things I really love about location shoots is the fact that you're in this bubble with each other. And I'm never going to have this experience with these individuals again, but it's an experience that lives in my heart so dearly. Yeah, it was incredible. I think I know that the chemistry you see between all of us is absolutely 100% real and authentic.
It felt that way. It felt as if you all had, been to school together or you've known each other for years. It felt very authentic. And I did wonder if that authenticity came from sharing a space together. A lot of times on locations and smaller budgets, actors will, house together. And it does build this camaraderie that kind of leaks its way onto screen, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty lucky.
So I love that Sterling was the cook. Every time you cooked, you must be a fantastic cook.
No, I was working. We had limited ingredients. I was really doing my best. They were very kind and generous. They was like, "Oh my God, Sterling, it's so good." And I'm like, "You guys, it's not that good. I don't have all my herbs and all my spices, but I'm doing, but I'm doing the best I can." But yeah, we all kind of like
because it was made with so much love. That's
yes,
what it
was. There was absolutely love in it, and I took to my caretaking role very seriously. But like Mandahla said, like I had never had that experience before of like being able to live with the people I was going to work with, and it really did become like a family, and it was so amazing. Like I pray for more experiences like that, but I don't know if you can ever duplicate it. Like being snowed in and just all of the different elements and like happy things that happened. It was really such a cool experience, and we bonded in a really beautiful way. I mean, we even gave Abisha her haircut.
We did. We cut Abisha's hair.
Yeah, we cut Abisha's hair. Like, because we decided that Abisha's hair was too similar to Lily's, and that it was not going to read well. And like, did we ask before? Did we ask Chris?
We didn't ask Chris. We just did it. And I remember she came to sit the next morning being like, "So I heard," but then she was like, "No, actually, I really like it." And we're like, "Yes."
That's fantastic.
But literally a bowl cut, I think. Did we literally use a
bowl
or something?
No, we just decided what length we would go.
Length?
We do have video footage of that somewhere.
Yeah, so we were doing everything. I mean, it was just like, it was a full-on experience. It was great.
I think you said, Mandahla, that you were housed together for about 11 days. Is that how long it took to film the series, or at least the first two episodes?
We shot an entire feature film in 7 days straight.
Wow.
Yes.
Those are long hours.
Not only that, but we pretty much, I believe, wrapped early majority of the days because we did our work, and we actually we all worked. It was a well-oiled machine. Our DP, Dave, it was the crew that we had, our first AD, it was every single part of what makes this film these chapters it was everyone working together seamlessly, that we worked 7 days straight and wrapped early on a lot of them.
That's amazing.
Mind-blowing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really was.
Sterling, I have to ask, Layla had the best line in the series, for me anyway, because I'm a big fan. "Don't Dana Scully me." I bursted out laughing because like Scully, Layla was a doctor, just like Scully, Layla was a doctor.
Right.
And she studied death, and she's also haunted by this paranormal sleep paralysis demons.
Right.
So there was a lot of sort of similarities between those two characters. So would Sterling, like Dana Scully, have a scientific explanation for these demons, or would she go like full Fox Mulder with the haunting angle, do you think?
Yeah, Sterling, like me personally.
Yeah, like you personally.
My take on it. Okay, yeah, I'm super metaphysical and spiritual and hippie time. So yeah, I would have a full. How long do we have? My take on sleep paralysis and all of that, I think, includes definitely some spiritual aspects, some inner child healing, different things surfacing as far as maybe potentially inner demons, subconscious things that a person may be healing from. And then also it can just be chemical imbalances. It could be so many different things that can caused sleep paralysis, I actually connected with this character and really petitioned to play this role because I had night terrors for a very long time. And for me, mine were very closely linked to my depression and social anxiety. And when I would be uber depressed or like kind of going through something emotionally, then my night terrors would be really, really bad. And so for me, my opinion of it kind of comes from that experience of like mental health, sleep, nutrition, and how all of those things can really affect kind of whatever energies are infiltrating, you know, your REM and your theta level of sleep. So yeah, and I think there's scientific terms behind that as well, but also I think it's just very important to take care of yourself. And my personal experience, it stemmed from definitely like a lot of depression, and allowed certain energies to kind of creep in and experiences to creep in.
And
sure.
Layla, as a doctor, she was very pragmatic about it, you know, the drawings and everything, which I found similar. So I love that line because that's, you know, the funny thing about Dana Scully is that all these paranormal things are happening to her, and she's very pragmatic about how she scientifically puts them in each box. And Layla was a little bit like that, but also maybe a little bit more open to the paranormal as well.
Yeah, I think she was. I think that you even see that between her and Duke's character, as far as her being really open to the seance and all of these things. I think she has that aspect of, obviously there's a scientific approach to this, and there are definitely like scientific explanations for night terrors, but there are other things that also exist that could be happening. And it's like, what's the fine line between those things? How do you know when it's one thing and when it's another? And obviously in this series, you learn some things about some things that can induce these, you know, situations, but I don't want to give anything away, but I think there's definitely two aspects and two sides to that. And so it's a matter of kind of reckoning with your own beliefs, and then also like, what's the evidence and what's the facts of this situation? Because it's so situational, it's so relative to what's going on and the person and the environment and so many different things, you know.
Well, Mandahla, I have to ask you, we have to talk about the comfortable costumes in the show, because I don't think, I'd imagine you have never been more comfortable filming a series, a film, because you were in leggings, a t-shirt, a beanie. You didn't even have to worry about your hair. So was this the most comfortable shoot you've ever done?
You know, one of the things I said to Kristen was the fact that we're shooting 7 days straight, I cannot confirm that my curls are going to stay the same each time. So because my hair has been out in a lot of our projects, how about I just wear a beanie all the time? And Kristen loved the idea. So what was great about that was that I just got to wear beanies all the time. Even when during sleeps, I'm wearing a beanie, and people are like, I don't know if I believe that. I'm like, I, as Mandahla, would wear a beanie to bed.
Yeah,
if I was trying to straighten my hair, or if I was cold. And then the leggings and the socks, I wanted to be as colorful as possible. I actually borrowed the leggings from my girlfriend Nicole, and it was great because I just got to wear them the entire time. A couple of t-shirts here and there. It was the most comfortable.
It's like a dream costume for to spend, you know, your entire film shoot in leggings, a t-shirt, and a beanie. Not have to worry about your hair, and socks.
And socks.
Like, what better way to show up to work?
Yeah. And also because we lived in the house that we were working at, I just got to roll out of bed, get dressed, get in comfy clothes, go downstairs. I was ready.
Oh, that's fantastic. I
don't even have to worry about the hair.
So I have to ask, who do you think this show's going to appeal to? Who would you say is the target audience?
Everyone. I mean, everyone, really.
I agree.
Because even though it's you know, the characters are queer, and the kind of subplots are, it's still horror. It's still horror comedy. Anyone could really get something out of it, enjoy it, I think. But I always want to ask, so people, when they're watching, they know, oh, is this for me? It is horror, so if you can't do horror, maybe not. But you know, I think there's enough comedy in it to keep you interested.
Yeah, no, I think there's comedy, and I think like Airbnb, like who hasn't had an interesting Airbnb host, like, or interesting Airbnb experience where you're just like, it's just the whole Airbnb aspect, I think, is just so culturally relevant because Airbnbs are just, they're so ingrained in everything we do now. It's like, when you have Airbnb, people are just staying in Airbnbs in their own town for fun on the weekend. So it's like, yeah, I think it's very relevant. I think our relationships are very, you know, they're just very, what's the word? I'm struggling for words. Probably some driving simultaneously. Relatable. Like all of our words all of our relationships are just very relatable. And I think if you like horror or if you like comedy or you like I mean, there's literally something for everyone. It's kind of just like, I don't know. It's kind of a little bit of everything.
I have to admit, if I was looking for an Airbnb that I was trying to get a haunting experience, I guess I'd give Airbnb 4 stars. But if I was looking for a peaceful lakeside experience, maybe not the host that I was hoping for. They were a little nosy and a little bit scary.
Well, literally, they're so great. The actors that play the hosts were so almost too good, like too on point. It was so amazing.
They were so fun. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. I love the show, and I love Diva Box Office TV because you guys are really doing fantastic work for representation in the community. And it feels important, and it feels like this little niche that our community is so used to trying to find ourselves in these kind of smaller landscapes, so to speak. And I've watched a lot of the films that have come from Diva Box Office TV, and every one of them has been quality, and I always recommend them to everyone because they're just such a fun time.